Hello and welcome back. We are on episode 33 of the podcast. We've got Lotus, me, and we've got good old Skull here.
Hello.
And today we're going to hopefully have a fun talk here. We're going to be talking about our favorite villains. So, Skull, would you like to go first?
Sure, let's start out with an obvious one for people who have heard me go on my little tangents about Ninjago characters in the past.
Hmm.
Morrow. Um, Villain of season 5. Angry little ghost boy who ended up basically being made to believe that he was destined to be this great hero. When he ended up learning he wasn't, he got mad. He left, ended up dying, coming back as a ghost, and damn near destroying Ninjago. So that was fun. Um, Definitely a lot of chaos in that.
Go on.
Uh, with Morrow, Master of Wind, right? So he's got the ability to control the wind, but as a ghost, also, possession. So he possesses Lloyd, one of the main characters, and as a result, so the rest of the cast are left without their elemental powers for the rest of the season and have to deal with it. Deal with whatever is happening without their powers. Uh, um, Not necessarily like very like clever villain, more so just uh basically denying destiny from happening the way that it was meant to and having a will strong enough to defy his own fate. In the end, he does get somewhat of a redemption.
Oh, jeez.
You can only save those who want to be saved.
Yes, but don't we get a lot of those villain
He's
redemptions now?
he's an angry chaos gremlin, and that's like my favorite part of the entire thing is just ang- angry ghost boy.
I can see why you relate to it then.
I mean, he does have like the snippets of his past that we actually saw were quite tragic as well. But I don't know. It's just fun character, at least for me. Definitely widely debated topic within the fan base, though.
Why?
A lot of people are very mixed on season 5. A lot of people say it's really bad. A lot of people said it was good. I'm one of the people who quite enjoyed the 5th season of the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it because of the villain that you enjoyed season 5 or
Honestly, just the general concept, You've got main characters relying way too much on these powers that are tied to their friend, essentially, and he loses his power or control of his power, and so do they.
okay.
There's like a more deep lore explanation there, but just the way that it was done, it was interesting because it showed, the characters needing to learn how to rely on something other than just the power that they were given. Rely on their skills as ninja.
Okay.
Yes. Continuing from there, season 5 also introduced. Um, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know if I could classify Ronan as a villain because he does help the ninja a few times throughout the series. but at the same time, he's also done some very despicable things on his own
Okay, well,
time.
look, to be fair, you can still have a villain who assists the heroes, but in the end, they're still ultimately the bad guy. I mean,
Yeah.
there is such a thing as an anti villain, who, for all intents and purposes, like, they are doing what they believe is right by their means, but because of what they're aiming for or what their role is, they're ultimately still a villain, no matter what it is.
Alright, yeah.
Kind of like
Ronan's.
an example I can give of this would be oh, um, what was it? Like Kaya's Ballad from the 13 Final Fantasy 13-2 game. It's probably the best not class, textbook example of a anti-villain because throughout the game he actively opposes you. He's the main source of fights, boss fights, and things like that. You are constantly coming across him after a certain point in the game. Well, there comes a point where you are trapped in literally the void beyond, like the realm between realms, where there's nothing there except for like the lost hopes of everyone. And you learn why Caius opposes you. And it's because he wants to save the person he's been entrusted to protect, the Cirrus Yule. But the only way he can stop her endless cycle of death and resurrection is by destroying time and the future. Because if there's no more time or future to be seen, then Yule won't see new visions that will kill her. So, like, ultimately, what he's doing is good for someone else. However, because of what he is and his opposition to the heroes, he's still a villain. And because ultimately he wants to destroy all of time. So again, it makes him a villain, but like you get where he's coming from.
Yeah. Okay, Ronan's definitely up there. He definitely did help the ninja within season 5, but it was kind of for his own benefit. Immediately after the next season, he ends up selling them out and getting them arrested.
Okay.
Yeah. We also don't talk about the fact that he kidnaps Zane, or it's kind of alluded to that he was the one who kidnapped Zane for fourth season into their incentive to go and battle in the Tournament of Elements, which was an absolute nightmare. He ends up exploiting a tribe of people on an island for money, for his own personal gain, using their fear against them and their legends,
Okay.
source of that fear. Um, yeah, there's just a lot of shit that Ronan has done, but at the same time, he's also a very entertaining character.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
Not at the moment.
All right, I can share one of my villains next. And this one might be an interesting one. But I know you haven't seen this anime, Skull, so you won't know the character, unfortunately. Though I do hope at some point you're able to watch the anime. It's quite interesting. But it's Kill a
Oh boy.
Kill.
I've seen a couple episodes.
But essentially, the villains I speak of is essentially Ragyo Kiryuin. And I guess Satsuki at first, because Satsuki did play the part of an antagonist for the better part of half of the series until
Oh boy.
she revealed her true colors and whatnot. But I absolutely adore Ragyo because of what she is. So first of all, she's a fucking awful mother.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this is a woman who essentially traded in all essence of being a human, her humanity and everything, to an alien life force called the life fibers, and essentially fused with the life fibers, making her almost more of a monster than an actual person. So you see her do a bunch of horrible things all in the name of life fibers and also just because. But I do love that like her end goal is just to continue a cycle of life. That's all it really is. And I love like the not quite the philosophies, but like Kill la Kill is just so good. I can't help it, and it just meshes well with Satsuki and everyone. And when she comes to clash with Ryuko, you see both Satsuki and Ryuko try to take down Ragyo, but it's not enough until what is essentially Ryuko going Super Saiyan, unliking her super form. Gosh, that anime is such a trip, Skull.
Oh boy, is that the anime? Is that the anime that you had sent all the gifts? I think it was you and Ruthless sending the gifts to the characters with the glowing nips.
that was dandy too.
Mhm. Yes, that anime. I'll probably watch it.
So yeah, that was dandy too. To be fair, I first showed the gifs of uh, Ryuko and Sasuke's transformation sequences, or at least Ryuko's. It's the most iconic one. But they like, oh, and then not even mention her fucking style. Like, holy shit, Skull. This woman is just fucking beautiful. Like, I love her dress. Not so much the clown dress and hair she wears one time, but and her hair, it lights up. It's fucking rainbow. Ah, I fucking love it. And then not to mention her little hench girl. I guess the best way to put a hench girl, little Nui, who's just fucking deranged. Kind of like there's a word for what she like. I can't think of what type of character she reminds me of, but almost like a Harley Quinn, somewhere around there. Skull, are you still here?
I'm still here.
Okay,
I'm
you
just
got.
listening.
I got a little scared. I'm like, it's gotten really quiet.
Uh, sorry, I was just listening to you and also partially spacing out.
That was my biggest fear. Is like, I hope he's not spacing out. Because knowing you, you do. It's the problem.
I'm running on less than 4 hours of sleep.
When aren't you?
I'm doing a lot better now with sleep. It's just this is like the last few days have been weird.
Hmm. I'm not surprised. But no, yeah. So if you ever get a chance to watch Kill la Kill, Ragyo is probably one of the best parts, as well as Satsuki. Which I'm gonna do Satsuki a little bit of service here. She plays it very well, up to the point where she needs to reveal it, because you would have thought she was one of the good guys.
Ooh,
And I love her, I guess, almost philosophies, or I don't know what you would call them, to be quite honest with you. But essentially, it is fear is freedom, subjugation is liberation, and contradiction is truth.
yeah.
Like, it seems so obviously contradictory that it seems like everything cancels out, but the fact is, it's absolutely true, though. It's why one of my favorite things is literally from the anime, which is literally fear is freedom.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I really think you'd like Satsuki in terms of character and how she's written, because
Ooh,
they did a really good job with her. They really did. She plays it so well that right at the moment of the reveal, you did not see it coming. Or at
damn.
least you might have from like a few other things. But that's if you're really paying attention. and you're not just like lost in everything. Cause like you know how everyone else is like, oh, it was so obvious, and you're just like, I didn't see it coming. Kind of like with Hans and Frozen. But Skull, I've shared one of mine. Now it's your turn again.
Okay, so I haven't watched Phineas and Ferb in a very long time, but I
Oh
really enjoy Dr. Doofenshmirtz. He's
yes!
such a
Oh my
goofy.
god,
Yes, I love
that
him.
man
Goofy
is a
villain.
fucking icon.
Oh, speaking of, did you hear that they renewed Phineas and Ferb for another 41 episodes?
You're kidding? They did?
Yeah.
Oh my! I thought. Wait. What happened? Wasn't it just? Didn't it just end? Or was it canceled? Like what
They
happened
it was
originally?
canceled. It was canceled originally. They're bringing it back for another 41 episodes.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that. That's actually really awesome. I haven't seen
Yeah,
it in ages, but holy crap.
yeah. One of my friends was freaking out the other day and sent a video made by Dan, the creator of the show, saying that there's going to be another 41 episodes.
That's fucking awesome. We'll
Yeah.
always take more Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Yes.
I swear
What's
he's
this? A platypus? Harry
Perry the
the platypus.
platypus. My
He's such a
god.
goofy villain. I love
But
him.
it works so well.
It really does.
I swear, every time he comes up, he fucking steals the show.
Yes.
Not to mention his catchy little intro, too. Gosh. And I love that, like, almost every single episode, he's got, like, some sort of tragic backstory to go with
Yeah.
whatever he's doing. But I
Yeah.
also do appreciate that even though, like, he's a goofy villain that's, like, so dedicated to, like, petty revenge, but he's also a really good dad. Or at least he
Yeah.
tries to be.
He tries.
Obviously, it's that kind of wacky, stuck in the past kind of dad where he doesn't really see that his little girl's growing up into this edgy teen.
Yeah.
But it still works. It's still cute. It's wholesome. It's everything.
It really is. My favorite scene with Dr. Doofenshmirtz has to be the one where he's got the platypus controlling me song. It's my favorite. It's just such a goofy scene, especially like with or without context. It's just entertaining. Great.
Everything about that show is great. Well, mostly him. Let's be fair. Like the stuff with the kids is kind of cool at times,
Yeah.
but let's be fair. Doofenshmirtz just steals it all away.
Yeah.
Best ever. Let's see. Anything else you want to share on Dr. Doofenshmirtz?
um, did you know he's apparently like at least in the show's lore, he is legally part cheetah.
Poor cheetah. How?
Yeah, he was raised by cheetah at one point. It's part of the reason why he wants to get revenge on the organization that Perry works for is because he was working with them, but then they were like, "But you're a human."
Oh, basically like,
Yeah,
no, mate, I have cheetah. I was raised by him. It still counts.
exactly.
Oh, gosh, that's great. That's fucking great.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Anything else for your part?
Uh, did you ever see the movie where they traveled through the different dimensions?
Is that the one where they came across like the Doofenshmirtz that was actually successful at being evil?
Yes.
Okay, I remember it vaguely, but I did watch it.
God, the dynamic between those two and like the difference between them is amazing.
It absolutely was. I can agree with that. Yeah, it's been. I think last time I saw them might have been. Was it high school? I want to say. I don't actually remember. It's been ages.
It's been a hot minute.
It's been a hot minute. It's definitely been. Also, I found a picture of Rockio to show you,
Ooh.
so you can get an idea for what a beautiful bitch this girl looks like.
Teehee.
Hold up, okay. We'll put this in the video chat stuff. Let's take a look here.
Okay.
Like, she is fucking gorgeous. That's a big reason why I do love her. She's a hot piece of garbage, but she's fucking gorgeous. Like, oh gosh. Once you actually see the anime and see all the
I am
horrible
staring
things.
respectfully.
Like, once you see the anime and all the horrible things she's done, you'd understand why she's a hot piece of garbage. But
Okay.
again, she is beautiful. Like, hot fucking damn.
Teehee.
Alright. My turn? Or you got another one?
You can go.
Alright. What show do I want to pull from next? Da, 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 da. Gosh, there's so many choices, and you don't know what to choose. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is gonna be a twofer,
Okay.
and it's gonna include some hot takes.
Oh boy. Those are
Yeah,
always fun.
I know that's why I want to bring this one up. But it's just Frozen.
Ooh.
Yes. So obviously the first movie, because the second movie doesn't have any villains per se. It's more just like the girls against themselves and their environment. So not really technically your traditional villains.
Damn.
But the first movie, you have Hans, who is obviously the twist villain, the twist antagonist, and then you do have Elsa, which I know is a hot take because not everyone considers Elsa a villain. But by definition of what an antagonist is, she is indeed one. Because she opposes Anna, who is the protagonist. Despite what many would like to say that Elsa's the protagonist, no, she's not. She's the antagonist. Elsa, Anna is your protagonist. I wanted to make that very clear right now. The story is about Anna and Elsa to an extent, but more about Anna. Because you see,
Definitely about Anna.
yeah, because you see Anna learn a lot more than Elsa does. Like, Elsa learns her lesson literally in, like, the last 15 minutes of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Maybe 10. I'm being generous here, though.
It was like very close to the end of the movie.
Pretty much, like, something drastic had to happen before Elsa learned the lesson. Which is fair
Yeah.
because sometimes that does happen a lot in life where the small things won't be what kind of like reminds you or you get clue in on it. It doesn't tell like something really really bad happened that you finally figure out like, oh shit, I've been doing things wrong.
Yeah.
But that's why I do like Elsa, because she is very real in terms of the princess lineup. Well, queen actually. She's one of the first queens officially. But I love the fact that she's basically a princess with anxiety and depression. I immediately clicked with that aspect of her when I saw this back in fucking high school. Because this movie came out when I was a senior.
Oh my god.
Junior, senior, roughly. I can't remember the. Yeah, maybe senior. I think I was a senior when it came out. So yeah. No, literally 10 years at this point since the movie first came out.
Really?
Yes,
It's been that
it
long.
came out
Holy
in
shit.
2013. It came out in 2013.
It doesn't feel like that long
Not
though.
for well. To be fair, Disney's also been shoving Frozen down our throats since it became like the fucking success that it is.
Fair enough.
So like, there's no getting away from it. Just because of how fucking
Yeah.
huge it was, and for good reason too. I mean, let's be fair. Like, the reason why I like it so much is the same reason why I like Final Fantasy 13. It's because it's a story about sisters. I'd say Lilo and Stitch too, but that has aliens, and I really don't care about the alien part. My sister liked that one though. But no, yeah. So Elsa, definitely one of my favorite antagonists because her struggles are very real, minus the ice powers. it's just a matter of trying to get a hold of the anxiety and depression that does cripple us, and that no matter how hard some of us may try, it can be very difficult to just face it, stuff it away, or whatever we do to cope with it, and it can be very
Yeah.
all consuming.
Like,
And that's why I love her. I also think she has some of the best outfits from both the first movie and the second movie.
oh,
And songs.
definitely.
And her songs. Oh,
Hmm.
gosh, everyone knows Let It Go, which I still love that one. I like the French version a lot more than the
Yeah,
English personally. I actually memorized the French version and can actually sing along with it.
that's quite entertaining to hear.
I loved
Honestly,
that much.
honestly, I just really like the voice actor. And Dina Menzel was one of, well, not was, is one of my favorite actresses, especially in the theater scene. She
I didn't
played one
realize
of
that.
my favorite characters in one of my favorite musicals,
Which musical exactly?
Rent. She played a character named Maureen, which was really funny because like after recognizing the voice, it was really funny listening to the chick who plays Elsa swearing. I will say that.
It's always the best part.
Oh yeah,
Always the best part.
it's like almost one to one the same voice too.
That's great. That's fucking great. It kind of reminds
Love.
me of why people love the voice of Moxie so much because it's Invader Zim, and it's basically people getting to hear Invader Zim swear.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's literally the same thing there. But on the other side of the spectrum is Hans, and I know Hans gets a lot of flack for being like one of the biggest twist villains. And would you say he was the? I'd say he was the first for modern Disney, wasn't he?
yeah.
Yeah.
He
So
was honestly like, despite what a lot of people say, I honestly thought he wasn't that bad of a twist villain because he was like the twist was interesting, but he was like genuinely despicable and totally deserved what he had happen to him.
exactly, and like I know people try to rationalize like, oh, it was the trolls or like all this other stuff, and it's like, no, people are genuinely this manipulative. Like it's almost on the same vein as what Mother Gothel is, which is another one of my personal
Yeah,
favorites because Mother Gothel's a bad bitch.
Mother Gothel is a really good Disney villain.
Oh my gosh, like it kind of bothers me at times when people say that she's a bad villain, but I'm like, she's so good because she hits the same points as Hans, where they're both manipulative. Admittedly,
Yeah,
Gothel isn't as suave with the manipulation as Hans is, because Hans knows how to play. He knows how to make it look like he is playing the part he's supposed to, whereas Mother Gothel just gaslights and manipulates, but it
yeah,
works. Especially in her song Mother Knows Best. Oh, I love that song. Like you're just going down the list of everything to gaslight Rapunzel and it fucking working too. It's just fucking great. But no, like I honestly never saw a problem with Hans because again, like he was a good villain cuz if you saw the signs or not, if it was obvious or whatever the case may be, like I really do think he was a good villain.
mhm,
Because yes, the twist was surprising, but I loved how they did it. Like the whole build up, like Hans is gonna be the one that's her true love, that's her fiance and whatnot, and then it comes up to that point where like if only someone out there loved you, it's like oh shit,
yeah,
and like yes, like I could see why people would be upset because again he comes off as so charming, like he had good chemistry with Anna, but at the same time that's the point
yeah,
because he was manipulating her, he was reflecting her.
yeah,
And yeah, in the end, he gets his just desserts as he's supposed to.
mhm.
I do love the fact that Anna was the one that punched him. That was a
Oh yeah,
really nice touch.
yeah,
Right off the boat, too.
We will no longer be doing any dealings with Weaseltown.
Whistleton! It's Whistleton! I didn't really care so much for Weasel Boy, but I mean, he was funny for. I know people say he's more of a red herring, but he's still an antagonist because he's still trying to like get the queen killed.
Oh yeah.
So like, I wouldn't even call him a red herring because he's not a misdirect because he's still a villain. He's just not the active
Yeah.
threat.
God, fucking toupee.
Oh my gosh, the fucking the little like dance, little peak, like not like how would you put like the bird dance he's doing around Anna?
Yeah. I believe
Gosh.
he did say like an agile peacock as
That's
well.
probably why I'm just like a peacock dance. I'm like, was it a peacock dance? No, it's because of what he said.
Yeah.
Gosh. No. So yeah, like that's my stance. I know it's a bunch of like a couple of hot takes there because Elsa definitely is the villain.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't say well, antagonist is probably a better term, but it's used in English.
It's an interchangeably used
Thank
term.
you. I'm
At
glad
least for this
someone can
video.
English. Well, I
I'm
mean,
amazed that my brain cells were up together for long enough for me to fix that.
I'm glad it was though. At least someone's brain is kind of working.
the
Someone's has
fact
to.
the fact that it's mine is kind of a weird thing though, given I'm usually the idiot of this video.
I mean, it
At
goes
least
back
when
and forth.
Raptor's not around.
Don't worry, he'll be coming back soon this week.
Yeah. Isn't he supposed to be he said like
17th.
the 16th, 17th, so like
17th.
probably really late today or like early tomorrow?
We'll find out, won't we?
Yeah.
But,
I'll look at to bully him about his D&D character.
God, for fuck's sake, of course you will. But, you got any other villains, Go?
um, I know Deadpool is technically an anti-hero, but like
It's an anti hero, though. If it's an anti
I
villain, that's one thing, but we're not talking about anti heroes here.
damn it. Okay,
We'll
fine. We'll talk
save
about
that.
Deadpool in another episode.
There we go. We'll talk about that in a favorite heroes kind
Um,
of episode.
okay, well, um, let's talk about Megamind and Titan then.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
So,
so I know I missed the DreamWorks episode, and I don't know. Did you guys mention Megamind?
I think we did briefly.
Okay, so I'm gonna be one to
It was a
say it.
kind of awkward episode.
I believe that. I honestly do. But Megamind is a fucking gem. I
Yes.
fucking love everything about it. And
Hmm.
the fact that what it did with the whole dynamic is even
Yeah.
better. Because obviously you have Megamind who starts off as the titular villain. Well, the villain to the people. He's obviously the protagonist. Anti-hero,
Hmm.
anti-villain, anti-hero. It gets swapped around a lot. Like,
It's definitely confusing for this movie. Like,
yeah, but like
it's fun.
he obviously gets his chance to destroy Metro Man, and then gets to do all the things that he believes villains, get to do when they've won, which is literally just a delinquent acting out with the gadgets and gizmos and all that shit.
Yeah.
But I do love his turnaround because yes,
Oh
he
yeah.
does start off as the villain because he's the bad guy. He's the one who's
Yeah.
destroying everything. But then he starts coming around partially due to Roxanne Ritchie
Yeah.
because she's the one that kind of inspired him like, "Hey, maybe we can just like make a new hero." And he's just like, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's perfect." But what I do love is that the person that he picks in quotes is the absolute worst option possible.
Yeah. Hal.
Like, oh, it kind of hurt a little bit.
Hal has the worst case of nice guy syndrome.
And like, keep this in mind, this movie was back in 2010.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was as big back then, was it? At least
No, it
us
was
recognizing it.
Like Megamind completely flew under the radar as a movie.
But at
Like it's
least
super underrated.
it was probably more at its time, but I think a lot more people are starting to recognize its worth.
Oh yeah, definitely now, but in the past it was definitely under recognized. It got overshadowed by a lot of the movies that were coming out around the same time, which is really sad because, got overshadowed by the fucking minions.
Fuck the minions.
Fucking minions. I'm sorry, but like I don't know anyone who genuinely likes minions other than Facebook moms and
Their
small
kids.
children.
I mean, I suppose they can be entertaining enough, but it's still annoying.
They can get they get annoying fast. Like, don't get me wrong, the first Despicable Me was good. Gru had a really good story arc as well. It was in a similar fashion to Megamind's, where it's like, you don't have to be the villain.
Yeah, and it is nice that he was more reformed due to like him being a father than through like a love
Yeah,
interest.
that was definitely an interesting. I don't know, like, I really, really enjoyed the first Despicable Me, but I don't know, the rest of the series, like, the second movie was okay, but the rest of the series is just a nightmare.
No, it definitely is. I do have to agree there. I actually,
Yeah,
I think I've only seen parts of the second movie, but then I haven't watched the rest of it.
yeah,
Because like, there's really no point. Let's be fair.
yeah. I mean, like, the too long didn't watch or, like, I wasn't paying attention of the movie was literally, oh, the girls have a mom now.
This is essentially what it boils down to. It's like nothing else matters except for that one fact. Let's be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see.
Um,
Do you have anything you want to say in regards to Megamind? I know I've talked quite a bit here on that, but like, what about you?
God, Hal made such a good villain.
Very threatening. I will say that.
Very, oh yeah. Well, like,
Terrifying.
another terrifying. Another thing that I really enjoyed about that entire, like, arc is that it was really what cemented, hey, like, you don't have to be the bad guy, be the hero that the people need. But
Well,
also,
it was
just
also
the,
Metroman not coming back because even when they found out he was
yeah,
alive and they're just like, "You have to come back," and he's like, I understand, but I'm done. This isn't what I want to do. Like, you're kind of on your own."
yeah,
And I also appreciate that Metroman does not come back in the end.
oh yeah,
Like, like most movies would do that where they would have Metro Man come back and save the day. But no, he
yeah,
genuinely stays out of it. He's done. I do appreciate that.
yeah,
But yeah, like poor Megan might have to take on Hal though.
yeah. Honestly, it was like a really. I loved the fight for sure. There were stakes there that actually felt like they mattered.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
It's great.
come on, like you have Roxanne basically tied to the very top of this fucking skyscraper that he's bringing down onto the city that Mega Man has to save her from. Then he tosses that same building at you. Like, come on.
Yeah,
It's just and then you think Megamind dies, and then he comes back with as disguised as Metro Man and all this other stuff, and he slips up and like, oh gosh,
yeah,
it's it's really good. I will give it
yeah.
that. But anything else?
Not for Megamind, no.
Okay. Who do we want to talk about next? Do you have one or?
Okay, let's talk about Macaque from Lego Monkey Kid.
That means
Because,
nothing to me, but so have fun.
okay, so, Macaque, right? Um, we get the impression that he's kind of just trying to antagonize the main characters at first, but we end up learning later on that he's actually doing it for a specific reason. We end up learning that the character was killed at some point and resurrected by a demon. And said demon, once they're set free, is basically just, you will do my bidding, or I'll make sure that everybody forgets who you were. So he's definitely not a good person, but he's stuck in a shitty situation of, like, you either do the bidding of this villain or, be forgotten. Or at least that's what we're led to believe. In the end, he's actually led to do a lot of what he does to the main characters and stuff because he's trying to break free of this demon's control.
Okay.
But we don't know that, and he's still doing some pretty shitty things as a result.
Okay.
It's been a little bit since I've watched the show, so I don't know if I'd be able to explain it too well. But yeah, fun villain, tragic backstory, and an actually interesting motive for why he's doing what he's doing, as opposed to just like it is partially tragic backstory, but it's also partially, trying to escape from clutches of a demon.
Right. Let's see. You got anything else to add to that?
Uh, Not without being an awkward disaster as I try to fumble my way through it.
Well, any key points you want to mention?
Uh,
Any more than you already have?
mm, Not really.
Okay. I've got a couple of smaller villains I just want to quickly touch on real quick
Go
because
for it.
I just have to at this point. So the first one is Meredith from Dragon Age 2. Now, in terms of her effect in Hawk's story, it's not that grand until the very last act because the game is ultimately about Hawk's life and up to certain points. So you don't actually get more involved with Commander Meredith and even Orsino, the first enchanter, until the very last act of the game. Because granted, the first act you're focusing on surviving and getting into a deep roads expedition, and then Act 2 you're focusing on the Canary threat, as well as the rising tensions between the Templars and the mages. But I do appreciate what Meredith is because she's ultimately trying to lead an order of knights against what is essentially ticking time bombs, at least to them. Because mages in Dragon Age are very susceptible to demons and that kind of influence. And because of it, they're treated with such caution because the moment that a mage falls prey to a demon or even their own blood, essentially, when they turn to blood magic, they're essentially branded a villain and someone that could easily just kill hundreds if they really wanted to. So you understand where Meredith is coming from in regards to trying to imprison mages, making some of them tranquil, taking away their magic and things like that, because it is honestly a seriously dangerous threat. You feel bad for the mages, but what's one life compared to hundreds? It's why it's a very difficult situation. And I think, what was it? It's towards the end of the game before the big, uh, the altercation, I guess is a good way to put it, where you're kind of just in between Orsino and Meredith as they're fighting once again, because that's all they do. And if you side with the mages and say, like, hey, we're not all villains, some of us want the same thing as you, And Orsino points out, like, you can't brand us all as villains. And she literally says, I know that not all of you are the same, that not all of you are the villains, but I can't weigh the few against the many that could easily kill us. I have to put the people first. And so it literally does kind of break her a little bit to do this. But there's no other way to her. And if someone else, and she literally, I love how she says, if you can't offer a different solution, don't brand me a tyrant. It's one of the main reasons I love her as a villain, and why she's like, even though she's kind of overall in the series, well, maybe along with the Archdemon too, Logain as well. I do genuinely love Meredith in terms of the villains of Dragon Age. The other one is I. You haven't seen all of Steven Universe, have you?
No, I've seen bits and pieces, but it's definitely something I want to finish watching.
Okay, I know I've probably mentioned this before. My memory's shit, but White Diamond.
I think we've talked about White Diamond before.
I know we did a whole Steven Universe episode, so there's a good chance I probably did mention her. So I will say this all the time and whatnot, but White Diamond had the potential to be an amazing villain if not for interference, obviously, with the show. She had the presentation, she had the everything, honestly. Her looks, her demeanor, just the way that she was really came off as a really good villain. The kind that was like ruthless and cruel and willing to do whatever it took to make sure things remained as she saw fit. That's why I'm kind of sad she didn't get the love she was supposed to. At least in my eyes. She could have been so much more than what we actually got. So,
Yeah.
any others from you? You've got to have some more villains you love.
Um, I'm gonna say Demise from Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword.
Why? I'm genuinely curious.
Well,
Why?
with Demise, um, the stakes with that battle were so much higher than they are in the rest of the series, especially given the explanation that Demise is the reason for
The curse.
every game in the series happening
Well,
because of the curse.
yeah, he essentially cursed the bloodlines.
Exactly. It's just, you know, he had a big entrance, dramatic battle, and I'm also basing this off of the supplementary material being stuff that's technically not canon, but
Is
like he
that?
was genuinely terrifying.
Yeah, but you
And
gotta think not a lot of people are gonna see that stuff.
yeah,
Because I'm sitting over here, I'm like, I kind of think Girahim was way more interesting than Demise in like Skyward Sword.
yes,
I
yes,
heard that. I heard
demon
that.
bitch, demon bitch.
Gosh, that I fucking love Girahim. He has like one of the best
I,
parts about fucking Skyward Sword.
oh, he's my favorite villain to hate.
Like you can't help it. You gotta love him and hate him at the same time. That's why he's
Exactly.
so fucking great.
He's my favorite villain to hate simply because of how he
But at the same time, you can't fully hate what he is either.
I
So
know.
it makes it so great.
But yeah. No, just that and I honestly really enjoy Demise's design.
I wasn't the biggest fan. It was okay.
I mean, I definitely see it. Like it's basically demonic Ganondorf,
Well,
but like
yeah.
different.
Well,
I thought
it's
it to be an
demon.
interest. Yeah, I thought it to be an interesting design.
It was definitely interesting, but eh, I don't know. It kind of Probably could have been a little. Oh no, it. I think it was good. It's just I don't know, a little forgettable to me, I guess. Maybe because again, like you spend a lot more time fighting him as that weird creature thing. The imprisoned, was it? What the fuck was that thing called?
The spiky avocado.
Yes, the spiky avocado. My
But yeah, the
gosh.
imprisoned.
Okay, I remember some things. Okay. No, yeah, like
Design wise, the imprisoned was very weak. It was also an excessively repetitive boss battle.
yeah, it's honestly one of the reasons why I'll never replay Skyward Sword is because I didn't like those sections.
Hmm. I
I
could
honestly
definitely see.
dreaded every single time I had to go back down there and fight that horrible thing.
I'm playing through Skyward Sword again now on my Switch, and I'm really hoping that the new control setup makes it a little bit less of a pain in the ass to do the fight. Because my biggest issue with the boss battles wasn't even the fact that, like, it was repetitive, it was the fact that with the motion controls, it was difficult to do some of the combat.
I only ever had issues with the motion controls when we had to recalibrate it and recenter it essentially. Because if you're playing obviously for long periods of time, it would eventually kind of unalign itself. So you'd have to go into the menu and like recenter it so that way, it wasn't fucking up as much. But it still would fuck up obviously because like motion controls.
Yeah,
And I would definitely say Girahim from Skyward Sword's my favorite of those two because just
yeah,
everything about that man is fucking gold. Like he fucking stole the show.
he definitely did.
Like for the little bit that he's used, it's fucking perfect.
Yeah. Also, on the topic of Girahim, like every single time I've seen any sort of fan content with him, it's been very, very gay content, which I fucking love the fandom for.
There's one I can think of off the top of my head. It's like a little almost like comic kind of thing where you have Girahim looking at a laptop and it's of Breath of the Wild Link doing a fucking dive into the water and he's just like hello. And then it
Ah,
cuts to a
yes.
drawing of Link kind of like wringing out his hair, I think, and he's just like, "What's up, bad boy?" I'm just like, "What?"
Love that.
Oh, I love it too. It's fucking great. Oh gosh. Yeah, I do agree that like though a lot of the content I see of Gary Cave is yes gay, but also with Link, and I'm like, hello. So
Hehe.
yes, I'll see if I can find that and send it to you, mate.
Good, thank you.
Alright, definitely.
Curiosity's been piqued.
I bet it has been. Oh, let's see. What else is there? There's gotta be more here. Any other villains you can kind of think of from any games, movies, TV?
Guzma.
Oh my god, it's your boy.
Guzma, yes. Guzma and just Team Skull in general. I love the fact that they're like super goofy and also really self-aware.
That was the best part about it. That's what made Sun and Moon so great was Team Skull.
Yeah, definitely.
And you
Like,
can kind of tell they were trying to almost repeat that with the other future teams as well. Like you could
yeah,
almost get that feeling.
I honestly felt really disappointed by Team Yell
I
when
honestly
I
forgot
started
all
playing
about them.
Sword and Shield. Like, I get that they were trying to go for like a similar thing, but they did it wrong. Then again, like all of Sword and Shield was kind of a disappointment.
I didn't quite know where they went wrong with certain aspects of Sword and Shield. Like, it wasn't
It
a wholly terrible game, but
it was lot of the story stuff that was kind of bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even remember most of the story at all. If I'm being entirely honest, I'm just like, what happened again?
Well, that's a problem then. The fact that, like when you play a game, especially if you're playing a game for the story, it should be a story that's memorable. The fact that people can't even remember the story goes to show just how atrociously written it was. Like it
Yeah,
wasn't good.
that's yeah. Again, don't know where they quite went wrong there, but somewhere down the line they went wrong. They at least did better with Scarlet and Violet,
Mm.
which I will say I do like the surprise on who the actual villain of the game is. Is it too soon to talk about spoilers? The game's been out since November, so like what?
I don't care about spoilers. I'm probably never gonna play the game just because of financial reasons.
No, fair enough. Um Essentially the professor ends up being the main villain, but you find
Damn.
out it's because the original professor died and the professor you've been interacting with this entire time is a AI powered robot.
Damn. Time travel, Dilf.
And it gets better cuz they aren't really intentionally trying to be evil because they're literally just a program. They're there to protect the time machine, but because you're an active threat against it, it activates the protection program. So then the AI
Damn.
robot has to fight you. So to an extent, they are the villain, but also not. Like it's weird in between.
Oh shit.
Like you know what I mean? Like the program is what's evil, not necessarily the professor itself. But it's still kind of a villain.
Makes sense.
But yeah, like I do agree that Guzma and Team Skull are the peak of the what do you call it? Evil teams. Like Team
Mm-hmm.
Star was decent. I like the premise of what they are. I just didn't really care for the big reveal of who the big boss was. Mostly just because the big boss felt bad for putting together Team Star and then enlists
Hmm.
you to dismantle it.
Damn.
Which it's cool, but I'm just like, eh. I guess I just didn't care for who the big boss was. Everything else about it was cool, except for who she was.
Mm.
I think that was the biggest letdown, at least in my opinion.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. But what do you have to say? Anything?
I think I'm just about done, honestly.
Nothing else? Oh, so here is your fan art, by the way. I found a few extras along the way too. Figured I'd at least show those. And this is there is.
Dramatic crash.
Hey there, pretty boy.
I love it. It suits him so well.
It does. Oh, don't
Oh
forget the
my
last one.
god. my god. I love this.
If I find more, I'll send it your way.
Oh my god. I love the fact that no one who's gonna listen to this has any context.
And that's all they ever need. But there is one last thing I do want to mention before we close out here. Something I kind of just now remembered and always forget to mention when kind of English when it comes to Ragio.
Ooh.
And the big reason why I absolutely love her is also due to her theme song. So the lyrics of it are in German, but it's called Blumenkranz. I hope I said that right. But my German friend, not really German friend, but like my friend that took German said it means flower wreath.
Damn.
And essentially, like some of the lyrics I kind of remember is basically talking about how this person has to be stronger, have to go after the enemy even if they don't want to, and that they have to remove the weeds and dead flowers from the flower garden to become stronger. Basically, remove all the past old things that are now gone and dead to move on and be stronger.
Damn.
So like it kind of really does fit her character because in a way she did that with her humanity. She got rid of it because it was in the way of what she could become with the life fibers. So no, yeah, Raya is my favorite, hands down, absolute favorite. Though Gothel is a close second because you know. But if that is all correct, you have no others you want to mention, dear Skull?
Mm, if I do remember any more, I'm sure we could always do another one of these in the future.
We definitely could. Because I can't really think of any off the top of my head. Because I feel like more often than not, I like side characters or the heroes themselves. Because I don't know, people don't always write an entertaining villain. Or like if they do write a good villain, it's just not top tier. Like you know what I mean? Like it's good, but it's not great. Or at least
Yeah.
one to make an impression. But that is all I have to say on my part. Skull, you too?
Yeah.
Alright, and we will end this episode out. This has been Skull and Lotus talking about some of our favorite villains and antagonists. We hope you all have a good morning, day, afternoon, night, whatever the case may be, and hope see you all next time.